Welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for your first of the 2024 season, year, whatever, January 5th, Friday. You know what we're doing. Let's get into it. We are talking Buckeye roster updates. We got portal changes. We got recruiting updates, a whole bunch of potpourri of shit. I will get to your questions in the chat. Drop them in there. Super chats are always welcome. They get answered first. So open up those pocketbooks, ladies. So first off, Saturday at the All-American Bowl in San Antonio, we are expecting the commitment of 2025 five-star cornerback Devin Sanchez to Ohio State. Yes, finally. Oh man. It's going to be a long recruitment probably because he's got over almost a year till he has to, till he can sign. But he's not a game player or anything like that. Seems like his parents are guiding him very strongly, and he's gonna stick wherever he commits to. But we're expecting him to be a Buckeye tomorrow. Now, we got some awesome news today. You guys may not be all up to speed, but that's why I'm here to convey the good news. More good news. Lathan Ransom announced he's returning. So we need some safety depth back there, and obviously him bringing a ton of experience is key. Then just a little while ago, Jack Sawyer announced he's officially returning. So that adds another warm body to the defensive line. Tyleek, add him to the mix. He announced yesterday. So you got two of the four starters coming back, which is awesome. In addition to Ransom returning in the secondary, though, rumors, whatever, that Denzel Burke and Jordan Hancock are also expected to return. So we'll see if that plays out. Burke is expected to announce officially on January 10th what he's doing. Keep in mind that the announcement date for the 15th, the deadline is the deadline for the NFL announcements are January 15th. So he's got a little time in there. That would be awesome if we get at least one of those two back between Burke and Hancock. So a lot of good news. The cloud has lifted somewhat over Columbus, over the Woody. So Ransom, Sawyer, Tyleek returning, hopefully, probably, possibly Burke and Hancock. So great news. But let's get on with the huge portal get. Will Howard, you thought I was going to talk about the tight end from Ohio, didn't you? No. We're talking about the quarterback, Will Howard from K-State. So I'm going to run through just a breakdown of what he brings, good things, bad things, whatever. And I'll show you some stats comparing Kyle and Will Howard. So let's get into it. Here's what Will Howard brings. He brings 1 year of eligibility, so he doesn't really mess up the track for the other guys in the quarterback room, right? You got Devin, Lincoln Keenholz, and Aaron Nolan coming in this weekend. So Devin, obviously, this is going to be an open competition. The coaches are going to call it that. So Will Howard is not being just gifted the starting role, but it'll be interesting to see how things are handled after spring. Devin has the option to hop in the portal in May. There's a 15-day window there. So hopefully it doesn't completely blow up the quarterback room, but it could. And then we would have to go get somebody else as a depth piece, a backup, if Lincoln's not quite ready. He didn't look quite ready last week. So anyways, hopefully this does not drastically change the quarterback room, but we'll see. So for Will Howard, when he can mix his ground game, his run game, and his arm talent, and not just rely on one or the other, if he can bring a solid mix, then that is going to be best for us. He uses his legs. His feet are an important part of the game. He's rushed for 921 yards, 19 touchdowns in 4 years. Oh, we got Sean calling in. 1 second. Let me add Sean to the mix. We'll get back to the topic. All right.
What's on? Hold on.
1 second. Yeah, you're on.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get my. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Is my speaker or
Yeah, you're good.
okay?
All right. So what are you doing? What are you up to on Friday? I was just in the middle of talking about Will Howard, but we can get back to that in a second.
Oh, just winding the week up. Gonna go throw some axes here in a couple of hours. With
Throw
some
some
aggressive
axes, huh?
axes.
Yeah.
Gotta axe somebody. About
Do
to.
you have to sign a waiver before you do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it extensive?
I'm sure it's extensive enough to cover their ass.
Yeah.
And
And they
I
serve
think
alcohol,
I
right?
went years ago, and the one I went to before was they had like a 2 drink maximum. They're like, no, you're not going to get all fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Things could go sideways in a hurry,
Yeah, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
like
you're getting
axes.
a little too rowdy down
Yeah.
here.
Right. Nice. Well, don't forget your flannel and your steel toe boots and your
Yeah,
jeans.
no, that's the only thing they said on the phone. No open-toed shoes. I kind.
Yeah,
Well,
that makes sense.
it's also like 30 degrees here, so
Yeah.
I probably wasn't wearing my sandals anyway.
Balmy. Nice and balmy, huh? So yeah, I'm gonna run through just a few highlights about Will Howard trying to get the people acquainted with him. So I was talking about his legs, and he's rushed for 921 yards, 19 touchdowns in 4 years with K-State. He's really strong in the read option game. So think about if Travion returns, the ability to use Will Howard's legs, Henderson's explosiveness could be a deadly, deadly combo. And when you add his experience in the read option game, his ability to improvise, he's really hard to stop here. Um, Howard also has shown the ability to make impressive throws on the run, does a good job of keeping his eyes downfield, body in position so he can quickly reset his feet, make the throw. He's shown the ability to scramble to each direction, left, right, and even up the middle against a blitz. Go ahead, you had some.
Well, is it really a read option if your fucking O line gets blown off the ball and everyone's in the backfield?
Well, yeah,
There's
that's
no
just
option.
well, no, but yeah, unfortunately, he can't block for himself. So he has shown mixed results under pressure. All quarterbacks, need to make throws under pressure, and we saw that was the issue with Kyle, right? I've got some stats actually I'd like to throw up on the screen here.
I'd like to throw up too.
Yeah. So these are under pressure. These are the stats comparing McCord and Will Howard. So McCord struggled all last year, but Howard struggled in 2022. His numbers drastically improved in 23, though. He completed 46 of 102 passes, 555 yards, 8 touchdowns. The 4 interceptions, are concerning a little bit, but he had a 108.8 efficiency rating, which was 43rd nationally. So looking at these, under pressure, he actually did substantially better than Kyle with the 8 touchdowns, 4 picks. Kyle, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. And even when blitzed, he had 13 touchdowns, 2 picks. Kyle only 10 and 2 picks. The yardage is about the same, but just wanted to throw that up on screen for a sec so you guys can get a good look.
Well,
Obviously,
I feel that McCord had a better surrounding cast around him, so it's not
yeah,
just. I mean, I don't even think the numbers are necessarily apples to apples. It'll give you a good like glimpse, a snapshot, but I mean the talent that Ohio State's working with ain't the same as K-State.
Exactly, right. And that's one of the points we were going to get to. But back to moving through his progressions. That's one thing McCord struggled with. Another thing on the
Yeah.
list was going through his progressions, especially under pressure, as we just mentioned. Howard seemed to do a good job with that, especially this year as compared to, you get a little bit better in these things as you go through your college career. It's only natural, right? So he moves his eyes well in a clean pocket and against pressure, both. Um, Cutting down on the turnovers is key. Obviously, he's got 25 INTs over his career, 10 as a freshman in 2020, 10 in his fourth year this past season. In 2022, PFF rated his turnover worthy throws at 4.1%. That was 99th in the country. But this past season in 23, he graded out added a 3.5% rate. So that took him up to 67th nationally. So he did have one game with 3 picks in a loss to Oklahoma State. So all in all, he's not the best quarterback in the country. I'm not even trying to go there. I'm not even sure he's head and shoulders above Kyle, but he is the best option, and he's what Ohio State needs. So,
Well, I mean,
right.
I'll throw a wrench in there. To me, it's a great get, and we don't know. The kid's got some potential. To me, would be the front runner to be starter, but I think they'll come into this as I guarantee they didn't say, "Hey, kid, come here, and we promise you the starting spot." So I think it's Devin Brown, if nothing else, with his limitations, the kid is a competitor, and I think he'll welcome it. We'll see about Holes. Nolan, obviously, I mean, I'm sure he's going to want to get in there, but probably going to be a little early for him. But I think it's a great get, and it just again, I'm with you. We might not have anybody better to play this year than Kyle McCord was, but we still needed to make the change because we knew what Kyle McCord was. So if we have another similar season, similar quarterback play, I'm not happy about it, but I'm fine. I'm fine with at least trying something new.
Mm-hmm. I got the stats up here for 2023 comparing Howard and McCord. You can see, obviously, I mean, there's no question McCord was much better in yards, INTs, and yards per attempt. But the big thing I wanted to look at was the rushing yards, 351 to minus 65 and the 9 touchdowns to 0, right? I mean, those are the big things that Will Howard is going to change in this offense that we really have not seen a quarterback use their feet since Justin Fields. Take out include the one game by CJ against Georgia. That's the only time since Justin
Right.
Fields.
Yeah. I mean, Haskins didn't run.
Oh, but then Fields, was a willing runner and he had the size and the speed and stuff. So that is the big difference you're going to see in this offense going forward with Will Howard. And again,
Well, to me, especially in college, it's damn near a must. You can't have. I know everyone wants to look at the pro quarterback or whatever, but it's college football, and your guy needs to run.
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have to be the running back, but you need to be able to do this.
Yeah. I'm not a fan, though, of the Caleb Williams style, where you just run around behind the line of scrimmage, back and forth till somebody pops open, after 10 seconds. I'm not a fan. That's not an offense. That's the shit we used to run in backyard football.
Right. You can't cover everybody for 10 seconds.
Right. So, yeah, that's not an offense, man. That's why it blows my mind that he won a Heisman on that offense. But anyway, I did also mention off the top of the show that we got some good news with some dudes coming back. Lathan Ransom, Jack Sawyer,
Saw that.
Tyleek, and Burke and Hancock, possibly. They're rumored to be coming back as well. So the defense is drastically bolstered. This fills a lot of holes that we were going to have. That's what she said, with guys leaving, because they can't fill holes if they're leaving, right?
I'm telling you, I mean, I don't see it. That's got to be a rumor. There's no way Burke and Hancock and Ransom are all coming back. I mean, if this isn't the best secondary in the country, and then throwing Igbinosin and who's gonna man that other safety spot, Hartford or I don't know.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we haven't seen anything out of the other freshmen besides Hartford.
Well, I'm still
And
pissed at him. So
yeah, who was and then we got big news coming tomorrow. Number 2 corner in the country in the 25 class should be committing to Ohio State at the they don't call it the Under Armour All-American Bowl, they just call it the All-American Bowl now. But so yeah, we should be getting that announcement sometime tomorrow afternoon during the game. That's a
who's
huge
announced?
get.
I'm sorry, whose announcement was that?
Devin Sanchez, number 2 corner in the 25 class.
Nice.
Tell you, Tim Walton's killing it, man. He's
I didn't know.
recruiting.
So they let juniors and seniors go to that game.
Yeah,
Nice.
I don't know if he's actually participating in it. He may just be camping down there this week, but yeah, it's a huge get. And I really think that Tim Walton is almost reaching Brian Hartline level recruiting quickly, and he's developing guys too.
Who's his first guys?
Calvin Simpson Hunt and Jermaine Matthews.
I don't want to grant anybody anything yet. You came into some studs that were there. It looks like we got some good dudes. I mean, the recruiting's there. It's whether these guys pan out or not and get developed. So, I mean, I'm with you that he is getting dudes, but all of Hartline's dudes seem to go real early in the draft. It's not only getting them, but then developing them.
Right. But what happened with that 2022 class at the receiver position?
Well, we still got Grays and Antwi as it sits.
Right.
Those guys Grays was pretty high rated, wasn't
he? Yeah, I mean, they were both 4 stars, but they haven't seen the field at all.
And I mean, if Ibuka stays, we got any news on that?
Nothing yet, no.
I mean,
but it's looking like he will.
If he stays, I mean, I got to think Tate to me is a no brainer, going to be one of the other spots. And then, I just don't feel that Ballard's going to take it over. I think Ballard's going to be a guy that you put in when you need a guy who can probably play any of the spots because he's experienced. But I think it's probably going to be Ibuka, Tate, and we'll see about Ennis. And I'm with you, Grays and Antwi. Who knows? We'll see how spring goes for him.
According to PFF's draft board, this is they rank the players not according to the teams that are drafting, so they don't even look at the draft.
Right.
So this is a ranking. They've got Emeka just out of the first round. He's number 37th overall. So remember, going into last season, he was like middle of the first round, like around 20s, somewhere in the 20s.
Yeah, I would have given him that. High teens, low 20s.
Yeah, now he's fallen off, and his grade for the season really was not great. So I think he probably wants to get back into that first round, and he's got to prove it, also prove health.
Well, that to me, I think if he stays, that'll be why, because he didn't get to put in a full healthy year. I mean, it's football, so who has a full air quotes healthy year? But yeah, you could just tell something was off there.
Right.
And again, some of it, and again, some of it to me possibly is McCord with the laser beam on Harrison and not getting through the reads and moving that ball around a little more.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think Emeka comes back. get into that first round, you get that first round money, you're talking millions of dollars in difference here. So probably worth it. Let's check on the chat, see what they got going on here. Got some of the usual suspects. David K says, I really like Lincoln. I'm hoping he sticks it out this season and learns from Howard the next season instead of hitting the portal after the end of 24. I assume you're in the same boat there, Sean.
What's that?
You're hoping that Lincoln sticks after the 24 season. It doesn't hit the portal.
I would love to see. I'd love to see him win the starting spot. I mean, I'm open to anything at this point. But if he doesn't, yeah, I would say he's gonna hit the portal. Is this Howard's last year? Like one and done?
Yeah. Or, yep.
Okay, so he's one and done. Brown's gonna stick around, I think, right?
He could leave after spring if it's obvious that it's Will Howard's job, or if they take the competition into fall camp. I don't know. He could go to Ryan Day and ask for a commitment.
I would think with and depending on how well, he's not going to be there for spring. Depending on how Nolan looks, I feel like the guy that's third in that battle between Howard, Brown, and Kienholz is probably going to leave.
Yeah,
the guy who's in third place. So I'm kind of thinking, right now in my mind, it's probably like Howard's got the inside shot to start here. Brown and Kienholz battle it out for who's second, and the third guy's probably going to bounce.
Yeah, I don't think Kienholz leaves this early in his career, though.
He's been here for 2 years. Get another spring in at least.
He hasn't even been here a calendar year. It's been like 6 months. After spring, it'll be 9 months. 10 months.
Oh,
he came in this summer, 2023 summer, like June.
Oh.
I'd be shocked if he left already. He's kind of a project anyways. He didn't exactly play against high level competition out in the Dakotas.
Then so, yeah, I'd take that back. I thought he had another year under his belt. I would say that he would almost certainly stick it out this year, kind of see where next year's heading, and then make a decision. But I really wouldn't see actually either one of them jumping until after next season's done.
Yeah. Yeah, you could be looking at in 2025 a QB competition for the starting job between Lincoln and Air. I think that's realistic.
Yeah.
Assuming Devin jumps ship, I don't know. I don't think he could. I can't see Devin wanting to be a backup again this season, and just wasting another year of his college.
Right. Time. I could see him going back to Utah or somewhere closer to home. And
yeah. Back to the chat here. Matt Ryan says we better get some O-line. Yep, that's a given. Odysseus says we need UW to win. Otherwise, I may quit watching college football. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I don't even know if I'm going to watch the game. I'm going to try not to, but I know I will.
Yeah.
I don't want to give those bastards even eyeballs.
I know. Billy says, great getting Jack back with our O-line. The D might have to carry us. Yeah.
I think the biggest keep, though, is Tyleek.
Yeah. I wouldn't argue with that. That was huge. Odysseus says no firings yet, ? Yeah, you're not going to get any till probably after next weekend. They got the AFCA. It's the big national coaches conference coming up the 7th through the 10th of January. And basically it's a job interview fest where, all the coaches get together and see if they can get a better job, while other coaches like Ryan Day are looking for somebody to fill positions. So Yeah, I don't think you'll get anything official until next weekend. Close to it anyways.
I mean, do you think what this might be a little off topic, but not really. What's the take on Brian Hartline? He's so important to our thing, but Brian Hartline to me hasn't shown. I don't even know if it's the desire, or maybe he hasn't been given the leash to be an offensive coordinator. And if Dave's out there and thinking, okay, I've got to be more of a CEO here, bring in a high level OC, where does that leave Hartline? Co-offensive coordinator, but you don't get to do anything. I mean,
Kind of, yeah. He really was just given that title for the paycheck so they could keep him. He's making like 1.6 mil. And
I know.
basically
I'm just wondering what
he's a
his.
receivers coach.
I'm just wondering what's his long term plan. What are his goals? Is he
Oh,
happy where he's at? Does he want to go somewhere else? If he feels like, hey, Ohio State's not really giving me the chance to run an offense. I mean, Brian Hartline can get a job tomorrow.
yeah. He's interviewed for like OC jobs. I rumor that he interviewed for that head coaching job, I think at Cincinnati. Like that was just yeah, right. That was his agent putting that out there or something. But the OC job at Kentucky a couple of years ago, I think he interviewed for. That's why he had to get the bump in pay and the title.
Uh,
But he's basically what Ryan Day says and what everybody says is he's just doing like, coordinating the offense, like gathering stuff during the week, not really having any real input during the games. So, and I don't know if Day's willing to give up control, even if you brought in a real OC. I think that's a bit of a stretch.
well, then, I mean, I don't know. Dave's just been in his head a little bit, and he needs to let loose and just coach football and not be. Don't coach scared.
Yeah. The thing is, he needs to embrace that CEO role, right, of a head coach. I think he's got too many irons in the fire. I don't know how you could possibly call plays and manage the game. Look at the play clock, look at the game clock, and take all that in and get a play in for every play. Like say you're down to the end of a half, which he botched multiple first half endings this year. So I don't know how one person can do that. So I think he definitely needs to embrace that CEO, control everything from above, hire an OC. I think you go and get an OC/ quarterbacks coach, somebody that can do both. And there are plenty of dudes out there. Um, but that's what he has to do. And then what you do is you make that dude the co-OC with Hartline. So Hartline is a co-OC as well. He maintains his title kind of and his paycheck because you can't go slashing his pay. So he will bounce and he'll take Jeremiah Smith with him. But back to the chat here. Odysseus says, any truth to rumors? Fry, Hartline, and Dennis spent a week leading up to the Cotton Bowl at country concerts. I can't confirm that. It seemed like the O-line was the one at the concert, right?
What was that?
Odysseus says, was there any truth to the rumors that Justin Fry, Brian Hartline, and Corey Dennis spent the week leading up to the Cotton Bowl at country music concerts?
Just them or the whole team?
Uh,
Well, maybe not the defense.
just
Defense
them.
did that.
Yeah, just them. I don't think they spent the whole week at concerts.
Look, football's
It
changed so
seems
much.
aggressive.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. You see those things where Ohio State didn't even take advantage of all the practices that they could have. I don't know if that's true or rumor. You see the stuff that happened with Florida State, Georgia, and all this. The bowl games are it's exhibition. It's early spring games. I think we blew some opportunities to really try some new things and try a lot of stuff in that game. So I think they've made it where no one gives a shit anymore about any of those bowl games, except the advertisers and the people spending money on them. Hopefully they get the eyeballs, but the coaches don't care. The players don't care. Um, it would not surprise me if while they were down there, they did take in a little honky tonk.
Yeah. Who can't? Who can't enjoy some honky tonk, right?
I can't.
Frank says Will Howard is a beast. Billy says I watched Howard play a couple of years ago. I was impressed. Frank says, can you imagine if we had Harrison coming back? Yeah. Frank says Howard is mobile. Yep. Odysseus, the O line can only improve from last Friday's shit show. Yes, I agree. Billy says, I think with Smith, Emeka, Tate, and Ennis, it's a pretty good wide receiver room. Yeah, exactly. I'm not surprised that we have a good wide receiver room. Odysseus says Howard has better arm than what we had at QB on Friday. Well, the QBs never really got a chance to use their arms on Friday, honestly. Lincoln had a couple throws that he ripped in there, but he was mostly running for his life. Devin got smashed, multiple times. So yeah, it was hard to judge a quarterback's arm in that game. Badass Buckeye says I'm all in on Howard. Frank brings up the good point. This is what I was thinking. That Will Howard is like Big Ben Roethlisberger. You like that comparison, Sean?
Well, I don't know because I haven't really watched this Will Howard much. Is he that big?
He's 6'5", 240.
Oh, wow.
Compare like Devin 6'3", 215. CJ Stroud was about the same. McWard about the same.
That is a big dude. I had no idea. I've got to go watch some of his games and see what this guy's about. But I'll take that. I mean, Ben, for as big and slow as that guy was, that guy could move around in the pocket, get out of trouble, and get you a first down with his legs. The one thing, my little thing I always hated about Ben Roethlisberger is when he would get tackled, he would act like a soccer player. He'd go down and he'd be like, "Oh my God, he's hurt so bad!" And then the next play, that fat ass runs for a 16-yard first down.
Right.
Like, you lying bastard!
Right. Yeah, he'd be holding his ankle and shit.
Oh yeah, he's damn near tearing
Limping
up.
back to the huddle.
Like, I got this one, boys. I think they bought it.
Yeah. Right. Backing up a little bit. I skipped a few here. Billy says they will have to redesign play calling to utilize Howard's legs. Yeah, I would dust off the Justin Fields playbook. That's a good place to start. More zone read. Frank says Ohio State needs a new offensive coach. So fire Ryan Day. Is that what you're saying? Anyway, Odysseus says use Howard like Fields in 19. Thank you. Henderson comes back. If Henderson comes back, he can rush for 2,000 yards just like JK. Okay. Odysseus says, wow, 65. Must have been when I was reading numbers. Billy says Day needs to get play calling. Was talking to Joe about this. Doesn't seem Heartline is ready. Yeah, I don't think Heartline is ready, and I don't know. I don't see a way that Day gives up play calling, especially to somebody that's never done it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't even know if Day's capable of giving that up. Like,
Right.
Like it would eat him alive to not be the one calling those plays.
Frank says, is Eddie George the all-time rushing leader, or is it Elliott? I'll have to look that up. Odysseus says, what about Oregon OC? Yeah, there's a ton of good OCs out there. And it's not like we can't afford to pay them. That's not an issue. But Ryan Day has to be willing to bring the guy in. It sounds like kind of the scuttlebutt that we're hearing that people, I guess, I don't know if it's Gene Smith, somebody in the athletic department is strongly suggesting that Ryan bring in an offensive coordinator. So we'll see what that leads to. Badass Buckeye says Howard won't be running up the middle easily against Big Ten teams. No, I wouldn't run him up the middle ever. No. He could scramble and if there's an open lane, take off up the middle, sure.
No, but you know what really be nice with the 240-pound quarterback for us to be able to convert on quarterback sneaks from 1 or 2
Yep.
yards on a
Yeah.
consistent basis, not be doing jet sweeps and other bullshit.
Yeah. You can do that with a willing runner.
Yeah.
Guy's willing to stick his nose in there and has
And if,
size to
and
move.
if you're saying he's already good at the read option, you find that seam and you push.
Yeah. He's got some extra batteries in his pockets. Odysseus says as QB coach play caller. Okay, like that. Yep. I think, yeah, we're kind of on the same page here. Odysseus, he says co-OC wide receiver coach for Heartline. If they bring in an OC, Frank says, I wish Burke comes back. We all do. Billy says that might be a perfect solution. Billy says, is the All-American Bowl on ESPN? No, it's NBC tomorrow. It's usually middle of the day, like noon-ish, something like that. Odysseus says Walton has been developing guys better than Heartline right now. It's kind of my take.
Why do you say that?
Because he got Calvin Simpson Hunt and Jermaine Matthews both.
Well, he said develop. He said developing.
Started. Yeah.
He said, I haven't seen those guys do anything.
Jermaine Matthews had a pick 6 this year. He started in spot duty for Denzel.
Okay, well, I mean that's fine, but I'm talking about Olave, Wilson, and Harrison. I'm talking about first round picks, high first round picks.
When I think
We
of developing
haven't had
better,
that many guys out of our secondary go high first round in a couple years.
Right. I get that. Walton's only been there 2 years. Heartline's been there since what, 19?
Yeah. Well, but I mean, he's gonna have one soon. Actually, he might have 2. I mean, 3 even. I love Hancock, Burke, and Igbinosun. That's my only concern is, are these young guys that he's bringing in, are they going to get pissed and leave? Because if all those guys are coming back, I don't see how any of them get leapfrogged.
Yeah. He's going to have to manage snaps, and get those young guys on the field to keep them happy. That's all I can say. We'll see. We'll see. Injuries always happen too, whether it's IGB, Burke, Hancock.
True, and I want to go. I want to go back to the Buckeyes where we're 50 points a game and everybody's playing all the time. I feel like there were way too few of those this year, where the starters were going way too deep into games.
Yeah, that's part of development, in my opinion, is managing blowouts. And Ryan Day's done a terrible job of that in the last couple of years, especially. We'll be up, especially when CJ Stroud was the quarterback. Dude, we'd be up like 40 points in the third quarter. It's like, okay, we get it. Get Kyle in there. Let him run the real offense. Get all these young guys in there, and he would wait till like middle of the fourth quarter to start sitting guys down.
Yeah, when the other team's essentially giving up too, and they're not as good as snaps.
Yeah,
they're just not.
Yeah. Billy brings up the point.
That's a big thing, and that's how you maintain a program. Is the guys coming in aren't new. They've been playing. They've had meaningful snaps.
Right. Yep. Billy makes a good point that a lot of Emeka's grade has to do with Kyle. That's for sure, no doubt about it. He says that I didn't watch one play of the Bama game. Odysseus says Bama O-line looked worse than ours.
Oh my gosh! And their quarterback.
If it makes you feel better, their center is visiting Ohio State this week.
No, thank you. That's a hard pass for me. I watched that game, and what that guy did, he's terrible. That whole line's terrible, and their quarterback is also terrible. I cannot believe that was Alabama.
Well, he had to curl up and just take the fetal position on some of those snaps. Milroe, he didn't have a choice.
Oh, I know he was rolling them back to him. He was firing
Yeah.
them.
They were widen outside and shit.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
bad. I don't know that. And he started for like 2 years. How the hell are you
yeah,
snapping like that, dude?
he had a really bad season according to PFF's grades. Um, yeah, he was a 2020 class of 2020 guy. So I think he has 2 more years of eligibility. I say move him to guard if you're going to bring him in. I don't know how easy that is to do for him because he's never played it, but that's what I would do. Um, Odysseus, yeah, Stallions. Sean? What do you think about Stallions being at the fucking Rose Bowl?
Just
The balls.
it is the balls.
He's with
I
he's with Winovich.
I know Winovich posted it, but was he with it?
I think so. He was sitting there. Yeah.
I heard on some local stuff from a local host that's the big Michigan guy, and they didn't directly slam Winovich, but they kind of backhandedly do. Like, I don't know if he's the highest regarded guy. Revenge tour. They're making fun of his revenge tour shit.
Yeah, that
And these
is
are
an
Michigan
easy.
guys making fun of it, you know.
Yeah, that is an easy shot to take. Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
I
the
can't
balls.
believe, how's he affording that ticket on that 55K salary?
Right, right. Well, Winovich is the one that posted the photo of them.
I
So
thought he just saw him and recognized him. I didn't know that
yeah, those were awesome seats, weren't they?
they were pretty nice.
But the balls, the fucking balls on these guys. The whole fucking program, the whole lot of them. Anybody wearing maize and blue
I
is
mean,
just laughable.
I can't believe that if anybody recognized him. I mean, if that was an Ohio State guy and you basically just fucking submarined my program,
Yeah.
you're like persona non grata. I don't give a fuck if what you thought you were doing was right. Beat
Well,
it,
Pryor's
loser.
not even allowed in the stadium anymore. you know, and he didn't
It's
really do anything wrong.
I still want to see how all this works out.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly want them to lose. Please, I don't think they're going to. I think it's not it's not even going to be that competitive of a game unless Pennick just goes out of his mind, which he's capable of.
Yeah. This would be probably the best quarterback they faced. Has to be, right?
Oh, easily.
Quarterback and receiver combos. Yeah.
And I think their O line's decent.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good. If their defense can hold up front, that's the only concern.
I don't see how they're going to do that. But hey, TCU did it. JJ's capable of making some bad throws.
Yep. It has been a while. Pookie and Ray Ray show says he needs to be an apprentice under a proven OC. I believe he's talking about Heartline.
Yeah.
Billy says we might end up with Bama Center. Yep. I think we hammered that one home. Billy says Heartline does need to be exposed to other offensive philosophies and play calling. Yeah, I got no problem with that. Day is the roadblock here when it comes to bringing in an OC.
Well, again, is there something there where he doesn't want to step on Hartline's toes and wants to develop this and mentor Hartline to do this,
Right.
But again, if the program's suffering day, you got to make the tough decisions.
Exactly, and he's on the hot seat. He can't take
He is.
another
He
loss
is.
to Michigan.
Agreed.
That that is that could be his last game. If he loses to Michigan in the shoe this year.
I mean, well, if that's his last game, then yeah, I'm on board with probably firing him because even if we do lose to Michigan, we'd still make the playoffs probably. And if he doesn't make the playoffs, it means he's got a couple losses on there, 2 to 3.
Right.
Yeah, agreed.
Got to go to Oregon in October. That's not going to be an easy game. They got a 10th year quarterback.
Yeah, but they don't have Bo Nix.
No, I don't know. Dylan Gabriel is, yeah, he's smaller, but he can run a lot. That's about it. I don't think he's a great thrower of the ball, but I think they had one of their receivers coming back. He announced he was returning. So,
And then
yeah,
what's his name? What Dante Moore from transferred there, which was kind of weird from UCLA
right,
to
right. He's going to sit. Yeah. He probably shouldn't have been playing at UCLA this year.
no. Well, didn't they
Um,
sit him there like he played some games, then they sat him, played him
mhm.
again, maybe sat him again.
Yeah, they had injuries, I think, at quarterback. Back to the chat here. David K says, other than DB and wide receiver, we can't develop much. Sad, to be honest. I disagree with that entirely. We
I don't know.
develop
Our D
quarterbacks,
line's been
running backs, D line. Yeah, that's a good one.
well, but our D line's really been lackluster the last few years. I feel. I mean, the stars aren't becoming stars. They're just other dudes.
I think we still develop more than just DBs and wide receivers. T-Dub, any word on the offensive tackle from Bama? No, I haven't heard anything today on that, but there is a ton of O linemen, and I mean decent, better than Josh Simmons type O linemen, dudes from Power Five schools, SEC schools in
I
that
wouldn't mind.
portal right now.
I wouldn't mind snagging a couple of them.
Fuck no, I'll take as many as you got. Um, Landon says, are we interested in a running back in the portal? Yeah, we're going to need at least one, and we don't know what Travion's doing yet. That Judkins from Ole Miss, he actually reached out to Taiwan Malone and IGB because he obviously played with them at Ole Miss, and he reached out last week before he even hopped in the portal. Found out, was kind of doing some reconnaissance work and wanted to see if they were interested. So I don't think the Buckeyes will take him. It looks like Trey's probably coming back, but if Trey does go, yes, then we need a starter level, a two-back system. I think the rest of the running backs, if Trey, you got Trey Dallin, I think you got to bring in Chip Trainum type, a 225, 230, a guy that you can use in short yardage, you know. So I think Trey's coming back. He played in the Cotton Bowl. That was a big sign to me that he was returning. I would have been surprised if he didn't return. So we'll see. We haven't gotten an official word yet.
I gotta think that's why Pryor and maybe Trainum jumped.
Right.
Because why would Pryor especially? It's like, okay, I'm in line to, compete and maybe be the dude. Me and Dallin.
Right. Yeah.
But you know what? Especially with running backs, I don't limit the freshmen. Trey's best year was when he was a true freshman. So maybe William Dixon comes in here and just wows the shit out of us.
Maybe. I think Peoples is the one that would be most likely to get legit snaps, meaningful snaps. He's developed enough, you know what I'm saying? Sam Williams Dixon, not sure you can run him much between the tackles. He's a little slight, needs some weight on him.
Yeah.
T-Dub, is Emeka coming back? I think he is, but we haven't gotten an official word yet. Probably hear that over the next few days. Again, the 15th, January 15th is your deadline to declare for the NFL draft. Odysseus says Day may go for 4th and 1 on the 43 versus the cheaters if he had Howard. Yeah, definitely. I think he would go for a lot more 4th and 1s, regardless of where he's at on the field. Odysseus says referring to 23 for Hartline versus Walton development this year. Okay, he's referring to 2023 for the development discussion, corners versus wide receivers. Todd Doyle, Ryan has a bad habit running up stats on starters. Yeah. Heisman race, etc. That's a good point. He does like to get his guys some awards. It's a tough balance there, probably to some degree.
It is. I mean, and you don't want to be out there putting up stupid numbers, risking injury late in the game. But yeah, when you go to, I think that's going to really hurt Michigan. You know, I'm fanboy McCarthy and think he could have good numbers there. That's not the offense that they run. They don't give him the numbers. And if I'm a stud quarterback, and knowing how I'd go to Michigan, I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to LSU. I'm going to Ohio State 2 years ago. I'm going to these schools that put up numbers. And so, you know, part of the whole 10,000 foot view, right? You got to give these kids the stats that they want to keep them happy a bit while doing what's best for your program.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a balancing act there, you know. You do want to get, you know, your guy, your QB into the Heisman race, right? You want him to be in New York at least as a finalist, but then you also want to get your other guys, like you want to get Marv in the Blitnikoff Award
I don't see
finalists.
on that. I don't even, if it happens, it happens. And if you got a guy
Right.
like Marv, then of course you're going to target him more because of the things that he can do. But as long as it's organic and not forced, when you
Right.
start forcing it, then I'm out.
I think, well, my point is, I think he feels as a play caller at times, I think you probably feel some pressure, you know, to feed Marv. I'm sure Kyle felt that pressure from whether it was real or not, you know, if it was made up in his own head. I think he probably felt some pressure to get the ball to Marv, you know.
I don't. I see. I think he was panicked, and that's all he knew, and it's all he's known his whole career was throwing to Marv, and that was his safety blanket. I don't know if he did that
Yeah.
intentionally. I thought he did that more for uh his safety net, if you will, more
Yeah.
than trying to pump Marv up.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. Odysseus says Washington has better QB and O line than Bama, though. That's a good point.
Agree.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot they won the Joe Moore Award. Thanks, Odysseus. UW won the Joe Moore Award for best offensive line. T-Dub says Michigan D-line will be all over Penix. Whoops. Stephen Cherry. What's up, Stephen Cherry? Where you been? He says the Cheaters fan base is out of control. The Huskies, fuck the Cheaters. Go Huskies. Yes, I'm with you there. Jeff said he was going to try and pop in, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Odysseus, 3 big games in 24 at Oregon, at Penn State, and versus the Cheaters. Go 1-2 in those games. We make the playoff. Would you guys be happy with 1-2? Sean, would you be happy with 1-2 in those 3 games?
1-2 in what 3 games?
At Oregon, at Penn State, and home against the Cheaters.
No, I could live with 2-1,
Okay.
but 1-2, no. If you're 1-2, you're an average team. You can take a loss. You can't take 2 of those losses. Just can't.
You probably still make the playoffs, though.
Yeah, with 2, I think you probably will. You'll probably get 10, 11
Yeah,
seed
you got
somewhere in
strength of
there
schedule on your side.
for sure. And as long as they're decent games and not blowouts or whatever. But if you've got 3 tough games all year and you lose 2 of them, that doesn't excite me much.
No, another 2-loss season, I'll pass.
Well, I mean, we may get back more to that though now with what's happening in the Big Ten. I think it's going to be a lot more difficult for Ohio State or Michigan to run through here undefeated like we're used to.
Yeah, that's a legit point. I mean, if Washington continues to bring in talent after Penix leaves, obviously Oregon is going to go for broke every year. So yeah, USC, you don't know what you're going to get year to year, but they win 10 games. And UCLA, maybe not so much, but those are 3 tough teams coming in. We'll see if USC can clean up their defense, then they could be a legit opponent, T-Dub says Oregon might even get Evan Stewart, the Texas A&M wide receiver transfer. Stephen Cherry says, will Larry Johnson buy in or retire? I'm tired of hearing he doesn't like Noel's defensive philosophy. Yeah, I don't know. Those two seem to go back and forth a little bit, Knowles and LJ. Um, what bothers me is we have this recurring theme every year about this time. And it's right around, it starts around December 15th, 16th, 17th, right before the early signing day, where a kid gets spooked because somebody in his camp or somebody recruiting for another team tells tells the recruit that Larry Johnson's going to retire in January. This happens every fucking year for like the last five at least. So yes, I'm with you, Steven. I I think Larry Johnson and Knowles kind of got along well this year in the philosophy, whoever's philosophy they're using, because Jack and JT had good seasons. You know, Jack had a hell of a Cotton Bowl, but his best game is a Buckeye. So, um, but those guys do need to get on the same page. I think Knowles probably wants to use more of that Jack position, which they did not use at all this year, really.
I don't know. My take on it is okay. I know we basically gave Larry Johnson a title to co-defensive coordinator to pay the guy to keep him around. I'm over that now. I don't want them butting heads. It's Jim Knowles' show, and I mean I like coaches arguing and having fiery debates and discussions and trying to figure it out passionately. I mean I'm not against any of that, but when you're both Cody D coordinators, I don't love it. Jim Knowles is the guy. Larry, this coach D line, or your successor or whomever. Because then you're not going to have they weren't on the same page stuff that you have right now, I feel.
Right. Yeah. The thing with Larry Johnson retiring is you could lose a recruit from that. And is it worth it in the long run? I don't know. Depends on who you bring in, right?
Yeah, but you're going to lose it now or you're going to lose it later. You're going to lose it
Right.
whenever you're going to lose it.
Exactly. Hey, folks, we got 100 people in here. Please hit that like button before you exit. Pookie and Ray Show says, I think Coach Johnson and Coach Knowles differing of philosophies, and it's making it difficult for Jim Knowles to implement his defense. Yeah, the jack position is really what I think he wants to implement that they haven't really done successfully.
Yeah, but I mean, we were a better defense this year without it than we were the year before when we half-assed it.
Right, I agree. I got a daily Buckeye Blitz coming up where I talk about the defensive stats and grades and how far of a leap we made. Even though we were really strong in 2022, we made even more leaps and bounds into the top 5 on multiple categories, key categories. This says, heard Ohio State reached out to Jason Taylor. I'm great. I don't know. I don't know if he's that good a coach yet. This is his first year, right? First or second. And this is his first job. He's never done it before.
Who's he coaching for?
The Canes.
Okay.
I'm sure he's a strong recruiter. He's relatively young, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
The NIL that Miami's throwing around probably helps recruiting. But let's give him some time. I got about 5 dudes I'd take before him. Just because I don't know what he is.
That was maybe the only guy on Michigan State's whole staff. I think they had a D-line coach. They were starting to get a couple like highly rated D-line guys. That this guy worked with a bunch of pros, is trained with tons of dudes, D-linemen. I don't know if it both tackles and ends. But I wonder what happened to him. And again, I mean, when you're that much of a draw and people think that highly of you, college and NFL, where you're Michigan State and you're still in the running for a top 100 D end out of Texas, it's like, oh, how'd that happen?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that tells you got a decent coach there. at that position. Just got to put a Michigan fan in timeout, a cheater fan, I should say. Landon says, honestly, I think we got a shot at Judkins if Trey leaves, but hope Trey stays and think he will. I'm with you there. Stephen Cherry asks, has Denzel announced yet? No, January 10th is his announcement date. What do we got here? Stu Bedazzle, it's a sweet name, is singing Michigan songs. Hail to the victims of their own bad decisions.
I know.
Stephen Cherry says Sawyer similar to Zach Harrison, both were late bloomers. A good point there, a good comparison.
Who?
Yeah.
Zach and who?
Zach Harrison and Jack Sawyer. Zach and Jack. I agree with that.
Well, I mean, and I feel like they didn't fully flower. I expected Zach Harrison, JT Tumalo, Jack Sawyer to all be Nick and Joey and Chase.
Right.
And none of them were.
Not all 5 stars are created equal. is the moral of the story there.
The thing is, of those guys, though, JT showed serious flashes, but it's not sustainable. It's like
exactly. It's also the defensive scheme has changed where they don't really highlight edge rushers to get to the quarterback, like we saw this year. What do we have? 0.8 or 0.9 sacks per game, I think we averaged this year. It was really low.
No.
Hold on, let me find it. I just did a show about it. Sacks per game. Oh, 2.2, my bad. I was thinking takeaways. Takeaways, we were 0.8.
Okay, that makes sense.
122nd in the country.
2.2 isn't. 0.8 is what? 122nd?
Turnovers, yeah, takeaways.
And what about the sacks? That's not very good either, I don't think.
We were 2.2. That was 60th.
So middle of the pack.
Yeah. We were 30th in 2022, for what it's worth, at 2.6. Let's see. Pookie and Ray Show says the only worthwhile recruit he's brought in the last 2 or 3 years is the player from Buford. That's Edric Houston, I believe. I want to see Knowles' defense implemented completely, no compromise. Okay.
I'm still, I got some hope for Curry and Kenyatta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If Kenyatta stays around, he doesn't seem too pleased right now. And now that Jack's coming back, he's probably even less pleased. He wasn't happy with his playing time before. But
well, do something about it then.
Oh yeah, he scrubbed Ohio State from his social accounts, so I guess that's kind of doing something.
No, I meant work harder and
Yeah, I know.
playing time.
Do something. So right now, JT is ranked 32nd according to PFF's draft big board. So he would be right at the end of the first round.
See, and if you go to my preseason predictions, I had him as a lock top 10 pick, just going to absolutely destroy it. I thought he'd be our highest pick guy.
Yeah, I think everybody expected that to be at least top half of the draft. Let's see. Billy says, Ole Miss D-line coach I once heard would be a good candidate. Yeah, Randall Joyner. Definitely would take him. Pookie and Ray Show says, the idea of scum causes me to puke in my mouth. Oh, gross. I'll take a shower. Odysseus says, Beavis basically spilled the beans that coaches knew on live TV. Oh, yeah, about the cheating. Did you hear that interview, Sean?
Oh, McCarthy stuff? Yeah, we didn't start doing it till we found out Ohio State was.
Yeah, in 2020. The year they didn't show up.
Right. It's because we had their signs.
Yeah,
They're like, we can't play
exactly.
these guys.
Right. These coaches have this team like so snowed over, like we had to do it. And we didn't do anything wrong. Everybody else is doing it.
You still
No.
see that on every like on my like Microsoft feed, just a homepage on my work computer. There's always football stuff that goes across because that's what I click on. And everyone and every comment section on any Michigan article, they still say it's not illegal to steal signs. Hey, we
Right.
know that, you dumb fucks.
Yeah. Right. It's back to the same talking points, right?
They can't get over it though. It's like
No.
what aren't you comprehending about it?
Right.
It's not illegal to buy people cheeseburgers either. But the way you do the shit,
Right. Exactly. It's the same mouth breathing talking points. They just regurgitate them.
I'm just, probably not yet, but it's almost worth it that Michigan's had this run with their cheating and it gets to happen to them and everybody in the country except their fan base thinks that they're the biggest scumbag team in the country.
Yeah.
Now they still think that Ohio State and Alabama are the cheaters, but
Right. And now the rest of the country has to see how much of an asshole fan base they are. Before it was just us that had to deal with it. Now the entire country has to deal with it. Yeah,
yeah,
good point.
it's delusional. It doesn't compute with me.
But yeah, appreciate everybody popping in on a Friday, first Friday of the year. I'm gonna go pour a shot right now, and
Oh, real
please
quick
hit
though, before we
go
go, since this game's
go.
going to be on before I talk to you again, right?
We'll be on Sunday night.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I'll save it for then.
Yeah, we'll do a little pregame
But
on
a
Sunday
little,
night.
throw in there for the show on Sunday, uh, if I can make it. I got to take my daughter back to
Okay,
school. But
East Landfill.
what will happen if Michigan wins? Do we anticipate this getting ripped? Have a little debate on what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I think it depends on which side of the argument you're on. Michigan fans, they're going to crow about winning a national championship, and then the rest of the country will put an asterisk on it.
That's why I mean, let's go Huskies, and then we can still vacate their Big Ten wins and stuff. That would be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I hope Penix slices and dices them, man. But Dunze for the deep ball, let everybody else feast on them, and just play some defense, man. I don't think JJ. They're not going to let JJ throw the ball around. So
I'm just worried about their running back. I hear he's playing, but when that guy's good, he runs hard, and if he's not 100%, I'm a little concerned in that regard. But cool, I'll let you go. I got to get going to throw some
all right,
axes here.
all right. Be safe. Don't forget your axe.
Better axe
Body
somebody.
body spray. All right.
All right,
Talk to
man.
you later, Henry. See you Sunday, hopefully.
Yep.
And folks, don't forget to hit that like button on the way out the door. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you later. Go Bucks.
Peace.